They're broken. Snapped like
They're snapped like twigs. No hatchets. No, no human marks of a saw. Everything snapped as though by mighty, mighty strength. Every bit of the...
I seem to take the human snapping and I can see.
Up there on the center thing, because she's gone. That. Gone. That.
I just found a little bit of snow, some piled logs, but as we wander up, as we wander up into the trees a little bit, we notice that there's a pile of a brush here. And as we look inside, we find out that something.
Brad's getting eaten alive.
Brad, let me climb out for a minute. Let me get a look into this thing.
Oh.
Let me walk around it a little bit. First of all, some kind of creature has taken and piled tons and tons of leaves and branches to either camouflage or make a place to hide. We notice claw marks as we look at the trees and stuff. Then we come around, we spin in here, and we see how whatever it is has been all smoothed out.
Looks like I'm gonna be sleeping with my revolver next to my pillow this time.
We see that they use trees around about to just
I see how the fire pits.
we see down here a fire pit, but we see no evidence that there was ever a fire.
He's walking down.
Oh my word.
Bigfoot's walking down right now.
Huh?
See, he's standing taller. Uh-oh! I get back to camp.
We see something moving on the hill above.
Run!
Where?
Where is it? Is it like where
It's
those
stopped.
trees, like right on the right
Yeah.
side of it?
No,
Wanna go?
it stopped and looking at us.
It's kind of looking at us,
I don't see it.
moving
The
now.
tree is? It's to the right of him. It's walking that way.
What tree?
Trees.
Do you see?
Okay. See the King's Castle?
He's that
Look down the
kind
hill.
of little skinny thing.
That little thing.
Oh, it's
Yeah. On the right side of the tree.
kind of small, but this is a far way away.
I don't see nothing. Seriously.
Getting out.
On the ridge,
On the ridge.
Right on the ridge.
almost to those trees.
It's coming down this way. See the patch of snow in the middle there? There's 3 patches of snow up there. See the one right up, straight up above the patch of snow?
Right under that big wall.
There
Right
could
there.
Yeah.
be something that's,
The bigger patch of the 3 patches of
you
snow.
know,
Over here?
something
Yeah.
that's evaded.
What about it?
He's walking up right on the ledge. See, he's just there. Did you see him moving? He's almost to the tree. There's those 2 trees. Or 3 of it might be 3 trees.
He's
Just
in the
walked into
trees.
The 3 trees. You see the 3 trees there, don't you?
Yeah.
Right up the very ridge. Well, wait a second. He should.
The thing snapped there like that,
Yeah.
right?
Right. He should come out in between them or past them, I would think. There he is. See him right between the 2 trees
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
See?
Oh yeah, he's walking down.
See, he's between the 2 trees right now.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go first.
Where? Dang it! He must
Two
have.
trees to the left of King's Castle.
Yeah.
See King's Castle?
Yeah.
He's shaking his fist at us.
He's right in between the 2 trees right now. The
He's
2 trees.
screaming at us something. Get out of my
Probably looking
camp,
at us,
get out of my camp.
He's probably saying, hey, there's 15 Bigfoots down there.
He's coming, is he coming down
He's
like
jumping up and down. He's going back and forth. He is furious. He knows we're in
that? He's
his...
acting kind of strange.
Now he's almost in the tree.
Where's John?
Should go out to the left of it.
There he is.
That
Doesn't
is,
look like a person.
it does not look like a
Doesn't
person.
look like a person.
Its arms are way too big. Look at how long the hands hang down to the.
How can you
Oh,
see
yeah,
from?
they're down to his knees at least, aren't they?
Look what I'm looking at. Can't find him now.
Now, when the guy comes walking down and says, "Hi," you're gonna erase all of that.
This is.
Why?
Because it's not very.
Probably about an hour.
It gets darker at night.
Okay, we better have our Bible.
His arms
Yeah,
obviously
take-
Hold
hang.
on. I need to.
40.
His arms obviously hang below his knees.
Shh. Don't make fun of Sasquatch.
I'm running out of focus here. Right there we go.
I say we bag him.
Huh?
We could probably get some pretty good money. Just tranquilize the sucker.
Just photos are all we need.
It's not very good proof, though. If you actually show up with him sleeping in a cage, that's proof for you. John's got the 22.
We're definitely not going to shoot him.
No, tranquilize him. You can. John's a smart guy. He can figure out a way to use that gun to get tranquil.
Well, here we are. It's Wednesday morning. We've seen no sign of our visitor. Looks like Bigfoot has decided to take another path. Everybody's up. Here's our camp. Oh, there's some people cooking breakfast. That's amazing.
Marble Mountains. So let's look at where the Marble Mountains are. It's in Northern California. There's Nevada, there's Oregon, Marble Mountain. This is Mount Shasta, Trinity National Forest. We see. I lived for a while in Chico. My big brother and sister-in-law and their kids lived there. I worked for the California Conservation Corps for a while, first season, along with the Department of Natural Resources, a forest firefighter, and I did some at the Mendocino National Forest in 1987. So I have some familiarity. Somewhere around here, my brother and sister-in-law saw a Bigfoot. There's Trinity National Forest, good old Redding. Let's see, Red Bluff. Somewhere around there is where Patty was seen. So this is Marble Mountains. See if I open that up, or do I have to do it a different way? You guys can't see that. It's going to be a long study. It's going to be a long study. There's Klamath National Forest. Famous for Bigfoot sightings. What I want is some image of beautiful Marble Mountains. Nice photo. Looks like after a fire, huh? Of course, the video we just saw there, that the Jim Mills it is, and the church camp group. They filmed what they believe to be a Bigfoot. Why not? It's not, take what we can get, right? Let's see what we can get here. Martin, where are you? It's pretty stuff. I want to get the. Sorry about this. It's just me, man. It's always something. So, Marble Mountain. Come on, move. There it is. That's what I wanted. This has got multiple pictures here. The beautiful place called Marble Mountain. It is a beautiful place. I wouldn't mind living there. Besides the fires and the droughts. Guess, shoot, it's freaking 15 degrees where I'm at, so. So anyways, look at the BFR report about this. Report 2928, Class A, submitted on Wednesday, August 1st, 2001. 18 campers find hut. Videotape distressed Bigfoot walking down mountain ridge. Now the year supposedly it was filmed was not actually, I guess it first came out to the public was in 2001, but it was filmed supposedly here 2000, the season summer in July 2000, state California, Siskiyou County. That's how it's pronounced, right? Siskiyou County. Location details. The sighting took place by Marble Mountain. Did they spell that properly? They misspelled that, didn't they? BFR, can't you get that right? This is probably. I don't read too many BFRO reports. I'd probably make the report even worse, but this is a classic example of why it's not a source for information, but they can't even spell Marble Mountain right. So anyways, in the Northern California, Trinity County, I think it is in Trinity County. Map. Will it tell us? Well, let's find out. What county is Marble Mountains located in California? Marble Mountains is location Klamath, the National Forest. I just read it. Siskiyou County. Wait a minute. I'm now getting totally confused. They're worse than I am. Siskiyou. I just said there. County says location details sighting took place by Marble Mountain and Northern California, Trinity County. I think it's Trinity County. But if it's Trinity County, how can it be if Marble Mountains is in Siskiyou County? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Let's find out if we can pronounce it. Whatever happened to English?
Siskiyou.
I did say it right. I'll be damned. I said something freaking right. Siskiyou County. So we got a couple of confusions. They can't spell Marble right, and they're not quite sure if it's in Trinity County or in Siskiyou County, even though it says earlier. Anyways, the nearest town is Fort Jones, excuse me, I guess. The nearest road is Highway 3, I guess, after what we just read. Observed, I don't have a personal story to relate, but I felt moved to share a sighting and video encounter. Told by a friend, let me start by filling in the details. Last weekend, a group from our church went up into the mountains near Gray Ag, that's how you pronounce it, Gray Ag, California. What? For the big boys camp out, sitting around the fire at night. The subject of the Bigfoot came up. I asked a friend if he believed in Bigfoot. He said, yeah, then told the group this story. Okay, so the story's been revealed to this dude, or witness, or what, I don't know who he is, though, informant, but they're in a different location when he's telling the story. Okay. He told us how his friend Triple X, and I imagine that'd be Jim Hills? Sort of Jim Mills? Jim Mills. I better not screw that up. Let's get that right. Marble Mountain Bigfoot. Jim. It's by Jim Mills. Okay, so we got that right. By the way, and then for the video, just to let you guys know, because he deserves it, this Flavian Burger. Flavian Burger. I guess I'll give you a good show you guys what this is, what the video you watched. Yeah, there's this Flavian Burger right there. Okay? I don't want to spend too much time on that. Let's get back to the BFR report. So, I think we covered a couple of bases here. He told us how his friend Triple X had gone up to Marble, I don't know why he can't spell, Mountain, California with his family to camp. Triple X decided to hike around the area of his camp and soon came across a hut with a big doorway. You think we come back and fix this? It's one of the best reports we got, period. In front, a smaller doorway in the rear. Upon closer examination, he noticed that the branches used to make this hut were way too big to be broken and set into place by a human. He noticed that the inside of the hut was lined with fresh pine needles and sunken in the middle where something very heavy bedded down. But this is a question. Although I heard that Bigfoot, Sasquatch mimic human beings and making pseudo fireplaces, it might be the case. I also really don't like fire, so. So did he hijack somebody else? A human campsite, commandeered it, or did he make that kind of pseudo campsite? I was a human being, unless he was on the run, he would show up. I was going to say something else. When I was talking about, you were here earlier, I never finished it. When I was in my own business, doing an enviroscaping and greenscaping, the guy that I worked with, a developer, he said, Mike, it's not how good you are, it's how bad everyone else is. If you just put a little more effort into it, you'll be far more better than most people, because most people don't put any effort in much of anything. That's what he told me. Of course, he was a multimillionaire and developer, and I guess he would know. And he was right. He said, all you have to do is just do a little more than everyone else to stand out. Don't even have to be good at it. That's the thing. Let's get back to this. It's something to think about, you know what I mean? So anyways. So Triple X then went back to his camp to get his new video camera and his wife and son, and they went back out to the hut, and Triple X, to be Jim Mills, began to film the hut with his son going in through the doorway and out through the back doorway when his son said, "Dad, there he is." Jim Mills turned around and saw a tall creature on the adjacent ridge with arms that hung down by its knees. Maybe. I don't know, man. There's a lot of debate, but when you look at Patty and other Sasquatch, when they filmed, Patty didn't have arms like that. I think it looks that way because, and this is going to sound crazy, but I'm starting to question whether Sasquatch, Bigfoot, boogers have a double jointed back that make it look that way. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But I mean, how do they conform and do the things they contort and do the things they do, unless there's something? Not only do they have big feet and big hands, but they have to have something dramatically different in the design of their body in order to do the things they do. And that sounds crazy, but I think that they have a double jointed back. But I don't know. I just said I think. So anyways, where are we going with this? The tall creature and the adjacent ridge. His arms hung down by his knees, and I don't know if you can tell from the distance, moving from side to side. Actually, he's doing more than that. When we watch the video, we're going to have a breakdown after this. This is a long video that we're going to be recording. It's going to be, probably an hour and a half, but it's worth it. It's doing more than that. It looks like it's tweaker. It looks like he's going all over the place. It also looks like he's carrying a staff, a walking stick, a log, something. He's got a stick in his hand, too. The Bigfoot seemed confused and wondering how he was going to handle this intruders. Checking out his hut, Jim Mills leaned against a tree and filmed about 5 minutes worth of video. He offered to show the video at one of our gatherings we often have. The sighting happened around the 1st of July, 2001. I thought you might find this account interesting. The other witnesses, Jim Mills, Mrs. Mills, and Junior, or I don't know if it's his son's name. I shouldn't say, he might not be Jim at all. The other stories, this is the general area of the famous Bluff Creek sighting, isn't it? Question, not too far away. Anyhow, time and condition, morning. Environment, pine forest. Still captures from Marble Mountain footage. Let's see if we can capture. See, a lot of times it won't come up. Error. The big BFR needs a serious revamping. I'm sorry. You guys are part of the problem why there's no progress. You're just like dinosaurs. My God. I never respect. A follow-up investigation report by BFRO investigator Keith Withers. Thank you, Mr. Withers. This report was originally submitted by a friend of the witness. Through these friends, I was able to contact the witness and speak to him, Jim Mills, I'm assuming, at length about his sighting, both on the phone and in person. And on Friday, October 5th, 2001, a fellow BFRO investigator, Montra Dumond, and I visited the witness. who graciously agreed to transfer his video from his camera onto VCR tape for us. Now we don't need VF. You have the internet. We need a different like platform this time. If you guys are really ambitious when you're young bucks, think of something like a internet version BFRO, where people can just send their stuff there directly, and try not to cash in on it, try to be disciplined about it, and just have it as a reporting thing, and let other people take it from there. BFROs, it's got a lot of issues at this point. It's so stuck in its paradigm that it just will not break free from the things, and is so dogmatic, you know what I mean? Materialistic. They pretend that they're based on science. I'm sorry. It's not true. The scientific method leads to the answers, whether they're comfortable or not, whether they agree with the rest of the world or not. You know what I mean? And if they take you to places that you're not comfortable with, then you'd have to deal with that. They don't want to deal with that. The sighting took place in July 2000 in the 241,744, so 241,744 acre Marble Mountain. Hey, they spelled that one right. Wilderness area located in the Klamath National Forest, roughly 20 miles west of Eureka, California. I don't think I was pronouncing that right. I should have known if I lived down there. Well, let's find out how to pronounce that damn thing. What the hell? What's gonna hurt? I mean, I lived there once, but I have a hard time pronouncing my own name.
Wairika.
Eureka? Well, they want to call it Wairika. Is it Wairika or Eureka, California? I think it's Eureka, isn't it? I thought everybody calls it Eureka. They want to call it Wairika. That don't make any fucking sense at all. Sorry for my language. Not really. We're adults here now. It's just a word. If you can't handle that in 2023, man, you need to grow up. Your false modesty. So some people call it Wairika or Eureka. I always thought it was Eureka, but California, about 20 miles south of the Oregon border. Marble Mountain wilderness area has rocky peaks and meadows and large streams and 89 lakes. Sounds like paradise to me. At least 1/3 of the wilderness is wooded and with tan bark oak, madrone and Douglas fir, lower down, white birch pine, fox tail pine, mountain hemlock higher up, alpine meadows and bare rocks are found in the highest elevations. Bear, deer, and many other species of wildlife are plentiful, and Bigfoot, it turns out. The Pacific Crest Trail crosses the entire wilderness for 32 miles north of south. The witness is a security guard at a high school. He is also involved with the Campus Life organization. On a number of occasions, he has taken kids, some of them disabled and disadvantaged, on camping trips to the Marble Mountain Wilderness area. On this occasion, there were 18 people, and the witness's wife, another adult male, 15 children, including the witness's son. After making camp, the witness left the group and went on a short solo hike. He spotted a flat area at an elevation of 6,126 feet that he thought might make a better campsite. So he hiked up to it. Upon reaching it, he came across a hut that was built out of long pine boughs 3 to 4 inches in diameter. That's big. If you're talking 3 to 4 inches in diameter, look at it's like your mug that you're drinking, the coffee cup. That's how thick that is, and good luck trying to break that by snapping in half like they did. Yeah, like Bigfoot did, I imagine. Lost my train of thought in my face. Okay, upon reaching it, he came across the build a 3 to 2 inch in diameter, long pine boughs. Sorry about the delays, but I'm just going to check and make sure I'm saying that right. I have a trouble.
Boughs.
Boughs. I call it bows, but it's boughs. Another way of saying tree limbs or trunks. I don't know why they couldn't just say that. Make it easy on everybody. Have been snapped off of the trees, along with trees up to 8 inches in diameter that had been snapped in two. So then we got 8 inches in diameter. That's like the size of well, it's a lot bigger, a little bit bigger than that. That's pretty big. I don't know anybody can do that. You might be able to pull off with maybe that 3-inch ones, but if you're a really big dude, a couple of them, but 8-inch ones, shit. That's what, when I saw that and I saw those branches and those tree trunks, I said, no way in hell a human being did that. No way in hell. It's kind of a giveaway, isn't it? Yeah, so snapped in two. And none of these boughs or trees showed clean cuts that would include the use of a saw or other tool. The freshness of the needles on the boughs, how do you guys say that? Boughs indicated that the hut had been built very recently. Sure had. It was obvious that a great deal of effort had gone into constructing the hut, which the witness described as perfectly built. I feel sorry for that Sasquatch. You know, if I ever have that opportunity again and I run across something like that in an area, you know what I'm going to do? Take a few pictures and investigate it and go somewhere else. Why do that? If you knew that was a Bigfoot, why did you keep them there? But I mean, they camped there at the spot. That's what they did. It's crazy. And they saw the Bigfoot too on top of it, and they did nothing. Well, yeah. And if they had handicapped the campers, seriously, the way people think is amazing. The way we all think, for that matter. So I'm no better than anyone else. But man, oh man. The hut was built using small stands of trees for support. It was approximately 6 feet high, 10 feet wide, 15 feet long, had a floor covered with shredded off pine needles. It had a large front opening and a smaller opening near the rear. No odor was noticed or around the hut. About 30 feet away was what appeared to be a fire pit constructed of very large stones. The fire pit looked as though it had never been used. So I've heard this several times now, that people have encountered these forest people, Sasquatch and other things, building these pseudo fire pits. The witness returned to camp and brought the group up to show them the hut. While there, he used his Sony video camera to make a detailed videotape of the structure, including close-up footage in both the exterior and interior. I think they had spent it, didn't they? At the end, it's like they're cooking breakfast nearby. Anyways, two witnesses had just finished videotaping the structure when his son pointed to the mountain ridge and cried out, "He's walking down now! He's walking down right now!" The witness immediately began videotaping a figure approximately 1 mile away. That's what I figured it was too. And that's the bitch to try to keep your... He did a good job. Witness says, filming some 1 mile away with your video camera and to get anything? I mean, you know, after a few hundred yards, man, it just starts... 100 yards, it starts getting shaky. After that, man, it just gets really, really shaky. It's hard to keep it, your body. Without a tripod, it's almost impossible to keep it from shaking. The witness estimate walking down the ridge from the rocky summit, 7,450 feet in elevation. 1 mile is, by the way, just if you ever in a situation like that, a little tidbit, if anybody's still with me at this point. 1,000 paces is about equals a mile. So if you're like the average male of say 5'9" or 5 to 6 feet, about 1,000 paces will get you to 1 mile. If you ever need to know, about 5,260 or 80 feet, whatever the hell it is. I think it's 80 feet. So. But just remember 1,000 paces, if you could even remember. Have you ever tried to count like that? That's like a great way to discipline your mind and to really put you in the zone. Really get spaced out. Walk once, try to walk a mile and count all the paces. And try to keep up and try to keep up with the 1,000. It's really tough to do. It really is. But the old timers did it. So you can do it too. You can do it too. In the video footage, the subject is visible for a full 3 minutes. Is walking. Well, no, it's full 3 minutes, but it's close to it. You know, there's times because of the shakiness that it's not there. Then it goes behind a ridge, and then some trees and stuff like that. So, anyways. Because of the distance, the image of the subject is small and not very detailed. Of course, now today it's not so small anymore, but still not very detailed. Just shadowy figure. At the time, the image quality deteriorated, becoming pixelated as the witness's camera passes into the digital zoom mode when it exceeds the magnification capabilities of the zoom lens. However, the quality of the tape is good enough that a number of important details can be seen. The subject's arms are long. His legs are freaking long too. Do you say that? Because his legs are really long in it. You know, we're going to break this down. His legs are really long in it. His hands reach down about to his knees. I bet you he won't say it. You can also say that it has white chest or stomach. Really? Can't see it in the video we have. It would be interesting to get the original video and see it. If there still exists, but unfortunately Jim Mills has passed away on the 10th. 2010, excuse me, not the 10th. He's no longer with us. 9 years after him submitting this, 10 years after him filming it, he passed away. Contrasting with the dark color of the rest of the body, it appears to be tall and thin, not at all as stocky or robust as you might expect. This is true. And very long legs. Very long legs. And if it's not wearing, if it's not a person in a raincoat with those long skinny legs, then most of its fur is on its upper body. something to think about. It appears to be tall and thin, and it's all sucky. You can also see no facial features at all, although you can see the head and pointed on top. It looks pointed until you really pay attention to it. It almost looks like there might be something. Like I said, you'll look at this, you'll see like it's carrying a stick or a log. And Patty had a ponytail, so a lot of these end up, they have ponytails and braided hair and weird shit like that. I'm telling you. Don't be surprised if you run across one and you see it and it looks like it's got a ponytail or it's got braided hair. You're like, what? Yeah, it's just letting you know. The subject's gait shows a bent knee type of motion. It's got more than that. However, this would also be the case with the human because of the downhill slope of the ridge. Yeah, it's true, but it's also not so true because you can see it was going uphill and that too. There's no, you wouldn't. When you walking downhill, you would not. You would raise your knees a bit, but you wouldn't raise them way up the way this thing is doing it. So. The walking motion still doesn't really fit a human. It's humanoid-ish, but it's not like Homo sapiens gait. I would argue that one. Not that I'm an expert in anything, but I've been around for 56 years, so I know how a human walks. Right? I'm a human being. Even walking downhill, you're not going to raise your knees as high as that thing is raising. You'll see it. I'm not making it up. And it's questionable about the pointed head thing. Although it looks pointed, but, that doesn't mean it's anything, really. It could be in a ponytail, like Patty had. Anyways, the subject's gait shows a bent knee and a type of motion, blah, 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 blah. Down, I disagree with that. You can see a hunch over posture, the subject, which along the way that it walked is somewhat reminiscent of both Freeman footage and Patterson footage. I don't know how you got the Freeman footage out of that, or the Patterson's. Alright, if you say so. At times movement appears very human, like that's true. If it is human, he's super, super tall and skinny. And he had really, really broad shoulders. Yeah, as the subject slowly picks its way down the ridge, it appears to be distraught at the sight of people examining its hut far down below. It moves back and forth, swinging its arms wildly, and its knees and its legs. And at one point, momentarily puts its hands on its head as if terribly anguished. It also grabs on a tree. The subject then continues down the ridge, disappearing from view behind a rocky cliff. During this sighting, no one in the group felt frightened. That night, there were no signs of a visitation of the campsite by the creature. The next day, the witness hiked up to the ridge, but did not find any tracks because the ground surface was so rocky. This area is open cattle range, and the day that the witness and his group left for home after the sighting, some cattle had just been released into the area. 1 year later, July 2001, the witness revisited the area and found that the hut was gone. The ground where the hut had been was disturbed, possibly by horses, and there was a 25-foot long rock-lined fire pit nearby where it appeared that wood had been burned. So probably somebody used the wood for fire. To my knowledge, this is by far the longest piece of video ever taken of a Bigfoot. 3 full minutes. It is much longer than the Patterson film. However, the video is not nearly as detailed as the Patterson film, simply because the subject was so far away. In addition, the camera had trouble adjusting to the lighting conditions. Video also taken late in the day, so that the mountain that the subject was on was dark. Yet the sky was still very light. The camera tried to compensate for a scene that was dark in the lower half of the light of the upper half. The result was that the subject appears pretty much in silhouette form with not a lot of detail visible. However, the footage does show some detail, and more importantly, it provides a rare glimpse into the mind of a Bigfoot, showing its reaction to a human intrusion into its domain. For those who don't like my commentaries, it's tough. That's what I do. Bigfoot are notoriously camera shy. It is unknown whether Bigfoot knows what cameras are or what cameras do. Mind you, this is a 20-year-old report, actually a 23-year-old report, and I guess we're still dealing with that. It's the same question 23 years later, which says a lot about the problem of how we're approaching this. It may well be that Bigfoot confuse cameras with guns, which they seem to be very familiar with. Regardless, this Bigfoot camera shyness explains why so few images have been taken of Bigfoot over the years. And they should be, especially, they should be very familiar with guns. Especially up there in Northern California, you guys killed, you took out a bunch of them. That film of Patty, you're witnessing the end of a creature's life is what you're watching, people. I hate to disappoint you. If you think they were just going to let that thing walk away, and interfere with the building that road and logging, you're out of your mind. You don't understand. The problem was, they'd do the same thing to you and I, by the way. We have endless accounts of, we do it all the time. We've done this, not we, because we live in a very it's class warfare, right? So the oligarchs and the monopolies and the churches and the uber rich, if they want your land, they're going to take it. Don't think just because you live in the United States of America that in 10 years from now, if they want to take your house and everything, you don't have a house. You have a mortgage. They can take it anytime they want. Then you can cry and bitch and moan and go through the court system. They might compensate you a little bit, but you ain't getting that land back if they want it. Ask all the First Nation people in this damn country. That's how this place runs. This shit show runs this way. And I'm sorry if I digress, but it is a part of a problem, right? So take a little break. I get upset. I get upset reading these BFRO reports. I'm sure you guys get upset listening to me. Alright, let's finish this up. The reason this witness was able to videotape a Bigfoot for an extended period of time may be that the Bigfoot was unable to see the witness's camera because of the distance involved. The witness stated that to the naked eye, the Bigfoot looked like a black speck on the ridgetop. The video footage accompanying this report is currently being analyzed by the BFRO. It won't be released to the public until this analysis is complete. However, in the interim, we've posted several still shots from the video. See the link above. Which, by the way, you can't find the link. Can't get to it. So, thanks a lot, BFRO. Part of our analysis of this footage may involve a reconstruction of the sighting where a human of known height is videotaped up the same ridge using the same camera that the original footage was taped on. And comparing the size of the two images, we hope to be able to ascertain the height of the subject in the original footage. If its height is determined to be slightly greater than 6 feet, then the evidence that it is indeed a Bigfoot will be even stronger. At that point, why 6 feet? It should be more like 7, right? 6 greater than 6 feet? That's a weird number. Anyways, there's a lot of 6 feet men and women, for that matter. Then the evidence that indeed this Bigfoot will be strong. Okay. At that time, we may release the video footage for both the original sighting and the reconstruction in a split screen format, so that the differences between the two images are obvious. I don't think if they did it, I don't know where it's at. If anybody knows if they did it, let me know. Incidentally, this technique was successfully applied to the Patterson footage, resulting in a height estimate of about 6.5 feet for Patty. And some argue that she was much taller than that, and that they screwed that up. So, good old BFRO. At this moment, the reconstruction portion of the analysis has yet to be planned, so the release of the video footage to the public may be some time off. However, this work will continue to be updated as our analysis progresses. Report update. Through a reconstruction analysis of the Marble Mountain footage was done in October of 2004. But the video was released by 2001, wasn't it? Maybe not, I don't know. The data gathered showed a height of between 6 and 7 feet for the figure on the revision. However, comparative measurements may still show some oddities of limb proportions. This report is probably going to remain as is for the time being, pending any further discoveries regarding limb length and proportions. Since the height of the figure has not been found to be outside normal human range, the video is not absolute proof of the existence of a Sasquatch, according to BFR. And, I imagine the guy that he probably just said screw it. People get sick of dealing with the BFR. And so you should get sick of it. Entire footage, including the image and stabilized version, is available on 2003 Willow Creek Synopsis DVD, which is available for a hefty price. Let's see what it is. Error happened. 404 not found. Resource you are looking for has been removed and has been its name changed and temporarily unavailable. Good job, BFRO. Fortunately, we don't have to use these guys anymore. So now we'll do our own little comparison. We'll look and see some stuff. We'll slow down the video. I'll blow up the video that we found online, and we'll see some oddities. It looks to me like he's carrying a log or a stick or a cane or something. A weird body movement. Weird legs. Really weird legs. I don't see dramatically long arms. You know what I'm noticing? And I'm not saying I'm 100% right about this, but it seems to me that the arms are not necessarily dramatically longer to the body. It's the hands. The hands are much bigger. They got big feet and big hands. And the way their hands are, and the knuckles, which would make sense. We think about how them breaking these branches and grabbing it. I mean, How did they break? They must be able to have big enough hands to break an 8-inch wide tree trunk. Just snap it in half. Right? If it's just solely fixed flesh and blood. Then there's some of us that think that they may actually come out of the trees, like the Native Americans say. But what do we know? Except I've seen it from my own eyes, but that doesn't mean diddly squat. To anyone else, you need to see it. Hey, check this out. So this is the Bigfoot, by the way, this shadowy thing here. The alleged Bigfoot. So you see the arms coming out. It's not Bigfoot, it's a big dude with the big shoulders and wearing a cape. There's his arms. And it's gonna keep on clucking away. Look at there. His arm grabs something right here. Grabs something. It's dark there, so I'm assuming it's a branch or a tree. Grabs a tree. Or something on that tree. Now that branch or whatever is leaning down that way. Notice that. He's shaking that tree is what he's doing, it looks like. So the tree's right here. If you watch, he's going to bring it down. He's shaking it. Now it's down there. That's the tree. How many people you know up in the woods would do that? Especially after the video we just saw right now, those trees being broke, snap in half like a matchstick. He's doing something with that tree. He's doing something with that tree. Now what are you doing with that tree? It looks to me now he's got the tree over here. He switched over. See that? He's got a tree in his hand right there. Oh. Then he goes. I think he goes. Is that him? Is he still playing with that tree? Is that what he's doing? I don't think so. I think he must have moved on. So he did something here. He's messing around with the tree. And he goes there. See what he's doing there now. I think he's got something in his hand now. Maybe he doesn't anymore. It's going to be a long video. It's going to be a damn long video. So one of the things is about the legs. See the legs? Arms, at least appear to be extremely large arms. The biggest thing is how broad the head. Some claim it's a conical head. It could be. Could be some. Maybe it's a guy in a cape. The tall guy in a cape. If you believe that. But something's going on there. What's interesting about it is his body movements are very spastic and sporadic and very, you know, if you're a human, say they set up, maybe they had a really tall camper with them, right? Maybe they had, you know, a super tall camper. You know, it happens. You know, I've friends that have been pretty damn tall, close to 7 feet. So, I don't have acquaintances, I would say, more than I know people. Could have had a guy run up there and tell him to put a cape on and act like a spaz up there and tweak out and make all sorts of crazy gestures on top of the hill for several minutes. Could be. They could have faked it, I doubt it. The higher probability in this case is that they found him to Bigfoot. Slow it down. Frame by frame, the best you can. That's the best you can do with a video like this. Instead of saying is it or isn't. But we have to deal with, what do we have to deal with? Those branches. Those aren't even branches. Those are tree trunks. They call them branches. Those are tree trunks. Now maybe it's a very large tree that had very large tree branches. That could be possible, but the size of them, diameters, those are pretty big damn the diameter of trees, and just snap them in half like a match, a pretzel, like a popsicle stick, like a toothpick. There's not too many people. I don't know anybody who can do it. What's going on there? That's what I want to know. I think he got onto something. I think on the other side of the tree, I think he grabbed onto a tree, which that would be very Bigfoot-ish. Now, that could be somebody faking it still occurs. Sure, why not? But he's grabbing onto something there. In my book, he wouldn't have all those lines showing up. So you get more lines, maybe he drops it or stops taking it with him. Look, did you see? Look how it was interesting. See that? How his body shape is, and then the head pointing that way. Very tall. Human beings don't walk like that. And he's walking. He's making a move. The legs seem to be rather thin. Of course, it's deceptive. Look at that. Now, how many people could do that? The head's leading that way. Arms and he's like some freaking rock star. Some dude playing bass or guitar for, you know, Guns N' Roses or something. This is excellent. Not excellent. What the hell is guitar for Guns N' Roses, I guess? Can't remember his name now. How could I forget his name? That's so sad to me. That means I'm getting old. You know, I was asking myself, why am I doing this? But in years, I'm going back and looking at some other people's videos that I've known about for years, right? I just said, what the hell? Let's go back now. I have some software and I got some time. I'm 56 years old. It's winter. It's frickin' 18 degrees out. Actually, it's been frickin' as low as 3 below Fahrenheit. And that's not with the wind chill factor. And I'm like, you know, I'm too old to go out in the woods. But look at that. I'll wait till if I feel good enough, I'll wait till it warms up and do what I might have been doing. My best strategy is still, to this day, ironically, because of the MS, is to film on the edge of the woods. Not go in the woods, but in the edge of the woods. That's might get the best results. Maybe that's what needs to be done. I wish a few other people would try to mimic what I do, try to replicate what I do and see what happens. We could be developing something here. Because clearly, the old school way, tromping around the woods might be fun, but it's not answering too many questions. And saying that, these campers are the ones who they filmed it, but they weren't looking for Bigfoot, now were they? They were just freaking camping. Just look at how long and lengthy it is. It's got something going on here. There's his arm, there's his head. There's, Patty had a ponytail. People don't want to talk about that, but she had a ponytail. That's why it made her head look pointed. And there's overwhelming evidence for that. People might want to argue about it and say, "Oh no, it can't be." It can be. It's too human-like. Well, guess what? They are human-like. We don't have much of a choice. If we're going to be serious about our investigation or research, we have to accept what the evidence is presented to us, and the most reasonable hypothesis, so that we can get a functioning, working theory going here, right? We're still working on the hypothesis stage, although other people disagree with me, but the scientific method says otherwise. So look at that. Look at that legs. Look how long the legs are. Look at how it's. Can you see that? Hey, it might even be. Hey, listen. I've been filming a lot of things in the woods that people are calling Sasquatch that don't look like they necessarily could be Sasquatch. In fact, I've filmed a lot of things that look like trolls and ogres and all sorts of weird things, man. And I wish it was pareidolia. Because if it was pareidolia, I wouldn't have anything to talk about. And then I could talk about other things, you know what I mean? I've got plenty of other things to talk about in my life besides Bigfoot. I'll be honest with you. But once you have your own encounters like I have in sightings, it's kind of like changes everything, because you finally know some truth. It's the definitive truth. You know it, the truth about something. Not because you're better than anybody else or more special than anybody else. You just know the truth about something, which says a lot, considering there's very little that we know that actually is true. We assume there's a lot of things we know are true. Now, today, I don't know if this is Bigfoot, but it sure has exhibiting some of the characteristics of a Bigfoot. Starting with all those broken tree trunks, snapped in half like a toothpick. Then you got this really tall, shadowy character. Now, mind you, this is filmed. I don't know what the distance is, but the way it looks to me, it's probably going close to a mile away or more from where the gentleman, what's his name again, Jim's Mills, that filmed this. It's amazing he even filmed it. He's kept his hand steady enough to get anything. I don't know if you ever tried to film anything long distance without a tripod. It shakes all over the place. It's a nightmare. I don't like filming things long distance without a tripod. I don't. If I don't use a tripod, then I pretty much have a rule that's 100 yards or less, pretty much, without the tripod. I don't try to film things great distance. I see people doing that, filming the stars and some of the anomalies in the sky, and I just think it's too shaky. You're screwing it up too much. So if it's less than 100 yards, you can get pretty accurate. It's a generic number. It could be more or less than 100 yards. Look at that. See, I know I never seen anybody do what I'm doing. Maybe you have. I've never seen anybody seriously try to break down the video. They go, yeah. I think it's carrying something. Something just tells me it's carrying a tree. I keep seeing a line right there. It could be just an artifact. It's hard to say, but there's something that reminds me. Like, it's like, see, it goes there. It's like it's swinging. It's like over there. Then he swings it over there. He's like, I swing it. He's walking and swinging a tree. I think he's trying to threaten these things. The campers, the things. Or maybe it's just long arms. Maybe it's just an artifact. It's hard to tell, you know. But they're like there. Oh no, watch this. I think he's got a log in his hand. There it is again. That's the log. Log. Then he gets it in front of him. Log. Then there's some in front of him. Now, I could be wrong about this. It's always a possibility. You know, it's easy to get me wrong about this stuff. As far as you can go with that. Okay, so I can't go any lower. So this point, it's all his camera. Let's see what happens. What's going on here? Yeah, I can't go any higher in that section. I added this. I cut a bunch of did some of the stuff out so that we could see it better. You know, stuff that was just when he's bouncing around trying to find it, and his camera's shaking. So this stuff is just trees or the mountain. I try to stay focused on that. I get a lot of this stuff, so I try to edit. So let's go back here and cut that out. Well, I know one thing. You might not like what I'm doing here, but I'll guarantee you one thing. You got more from what I'm doing right now than anybody else that I know of on the internet that bothered to do. Not to say I'm... You know, it's like a guy... When I used to have my own business, Adams Enviroscape. I used to design nature trails and boardwalks and do greenscaping until 9/11 ruined it all. Which, by the way, is quite ironic because when I say 9/11, it was 2001, and allegedly this film was filmed in 2001. There's some I've heard 2020, but the vast majority of things I've seen online say it's 2001. So here we go. Maybe something good will happen from it, if it's even possible. 9/11. How do you guys feel about that? You guys feel good about being lied to by your the class president, class clown, and the prom queen in the prep school? You know, they end up becoming your politicians. You know that, right? You know, the people you don't like that much at school, they end up being your politicians. Isn't that amazing? Let's see what's going on here now. I think he had a log. Man, I wish I would have took a still of that. Maybe I'll go back and do it. It might not be worth a still anyway. A still. I think he's getting to the edge of that photo. Man, I haven't seen anybody do this. I'm not saying it hasn't been done. I just hadn't seen anybody do it. Oh, he's got that log again. He's got that log. He's got to have a log. I'm going to take a still of it. He's got to have a log there. He's got a log. So he snapped something's carrying a log with him. So how many of you have known that? I wouldn't have known that until I did this. I wouldn't have had a clue. He's like carrying some kind of log. It still could be an artifact from, it could be just his long hands and arms. But I think his hands are right there, and he's got himself a log. And look at the size of him. Look at the dimensions, and maybe it's a massive guy with a pointed like witch's hat, and and a cape, and he's walking around in the middle of summer. Hey, maybe they paid him to do it. He's got a log. He's got a log. He's got a, yeah, he took a tree trunk, right? Or a log, and yeah, that makes sense, you know what I mean? That's what they do, and they live in the woods, you know. If you're a Sasquatch, what would you do? Would you carry a log with you? Probably. What else are you gonna do in the woods if you're a Sasquatch? That's a good image right there. You still can see kind of something like a stick or something right there. You see the legs and the body. He's got a big body, a big upper torso. It looks like the big shoulders. Look at that. See that? That's a freaking log. He's got a tree trunk. I never heard anybody say that about this video. Guy's carrying a creek. I'm not saying no one's ever did it. Don't get me wrong. Don't do that. But I just never seen it. I stopped bothering with people and their work because they weren't doing this. They put the 30-second video. I mean, like TikTok should be banned. In my book at this point, all these short videos, you guys are ruining it all. You have no idea. You're so desperate to get numbers that you forget about the, you know, I don't think you even know how to do research. I'm not any that good of it. So, but I know at least some of what to do. Look at that. That's his arm. He has his arm jutting enough. He's like doing his like, what was he like in a rave? I mean, how many? This is although it might be 6-minute video, maybe 2-3 minutes of this. And I mean, this is a lot of moving your arms around and going up down this mountain ridge, and you know, jerking and twerking, and that's a lot of energy. I hope they paid him well for it, fed him well. There's something going on there. I swear to God. Maybe it's not even. There's always a chance I'm wrong. Maybe it's something completely different. Maybe it's like some kind of something similar to a silver cord. Maybe we're dealing with an apparition, some kind of ghostly thing, a spirit. After all, Bigfoot, I've seen Bigfoot act like a spirit, even though it pisses off a lot of people. But I mean, I didn't ask for it. And neither did all the other people who had very similar experiences. Most people that go through what I go through and see what I say, you know what they do? They keep their mouth shut. Or they go New Age. You know why? Because the abuse. I'm so used to being abused all my life, I don't give a shit. I expect to be abused. It happens all the time. Look at that. I mean, if that's, it's got to be a guy. If it's a human being, it's got to be a really, really tall dude with really broad. Unless he's wearing like football shoulder pads and wearing a cape, which it could. Maybe they decided to march in the woods, you know, in the mountains up there, Marble Mountains in Northern California, and say, let's fake it. That's their chance. But it's, I don't know if I would be the one to want to do that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be the one to do that. Man, it looks like he's got a backpack on, doesn't it? A really tall dude with a backpack. Except that's clearly that's not what it is. Look at that. Now it looks like a woman. Doesn't he look like a woman? I see it's that distance and the shadows. You can really get thrown off with this stuff, couldn't you? If you didn't know what you're looking at there, you might say that's a woman. Or maybe it is. For a really super tall woman. Maybe she decided to be a Bigfoot for the day. Still see something here, like he's carrying some kind of. Maybe think he's log, long branch. It's gonna be a long video. This is not for the if you're not serious in for this kind of research, you're probably wasting your time being here, because that's what I do. You don't find it entertaining, but man, look at the legs. You can just see the legs right there. You see the arms. There's something going on right there. It's just I mean, look at that. Look how he's the posture. Now, mind you, could be, you know, something to do with the camera and the distance and all this. So it's giving the illusion of that. But you see too much of that in this video to say, man, this dude is really tall, lanky, like he's Rubberman Man. You know what I mean? Look at how he's bent over. I do think, I'm getting the impression that maybe the youngs are males, maybe the females too, but a lot of these, what we call Sasquatch, are their back is double jointed. Now he can't be, but when you look at the legs and the way he's holding himself, and you try to walk that way, where I try to walk that way. Seriously, try to walk that way. Going down a mountain, slope of a mountain. You know, he could easily have dropped the log or trunk any time he wanted to, because it's so distant and it's still by still, and yeah, might as well do it. You know, my thinking is, at this point, might as well. Wait, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to cut it. We'll bring him down. Or her. It could be a her for all I know. Could be a young one. Maybe his young one is trying to find his place in the. I wonder if he's even still alive. It's 20 years ago. I hope he is. Or she is. No. They say you shouldn't mess with these things. The First Nation people, indigenous cultures in North America, and just Californians particularly, talk about how, at least I was told that they say that these things you're not to be trusted. They'll steal from you, because they don't have the. Esau. If you watch Esau, it depends on how sophisticated your thinking is, for you to understand that the story Esau and Jacob is really about us. Esau represents Sasquatch, and we are Jacob. Generically, they're just look at that. You might find it boring, but to me, I don't find this boring. You know, you get a lot of images of like apparitions and ghostly figures, and you don't get this much detail. But I can see the detail, the movement of the legs, the arms, the occasional. It looks like he's carrying something. Once again, a log. I get the impression. That doesn't mean I'm right. Of course, I wasn't there, so even if it was there, 50% of you right off the bat wouldn't believe me. Then another 40 of you would doubt me, and then the other 10 of you would argue with me, and then the other 2%, 1% that no, it's real. We would just call it a truce and realize none of us know what the fuck we're talking about. We just know that Bigfoot is real. That's as much as we know on our own personal experiences. See, so what I'm saying is, by the end of the day, this could be a really tall dude in a hoodie and a rain parka. It could be. and he's just playing a role. And they said, just go up there in the mountain there, and just a mountain ridge, and just act like a Sasquatch, and we'll make a short video. We'll break all these branches like toothpicks, even though humanly, no human could do that. And even if we did try to, this is what happened. We would have that real tearing of the bark and everything. It always ends up different. To snap it perfectly like they do. I mean, this is strength and precision that's beyond our capability without heavy equipment. And you would have marks from the heavy equipment. Even in this video, he talks about there was no saw marks. There you go. There's no legs. You can say it's not a Bigfoot. I don't care. I'm putting my money on it is a Bigfoot. But it's the flip of a coin at this point. Except there's one thing that I can say from my research is, and you guys, if you saw the video in the past 20 years, most of your researchers should have just seen it once, especially the ones that have been around the block at least the past decade or more. I doubt you did anything which I'm just doing right now. I doubt it. But I might be wrong. I mean, you certainly didn't. I never seen you post it. That's a humanoid, to say the least. It's either human, and then we got to explain once again how the hell did they break those trees the way they did. I want to see you do it. And when you look at it carefully, you realize that's not just branches. We're not just looking at branches. We're not just looking at branches. That's not just branches. No, that's not just branch. That's the branch. See that? That's a tree trunk. And to break it perfectly like that, those aren't just branches. Of course, there's a big tree trunk, but those, if they are branches, they're the large branches of a very large tree. It's still good luck you doing that. And listen, they still got the green on it, right? It's still got the pine needles on it. So to say that it can be done, I'd like to see a human being do it. See, these things, they don't. Look, you see how he's moving his leg? One, done. So he's moving this leg. Watch it. Yeah, that's a big. Well, see, it's pretty. There's two things. It's a super tall dude with some wacky body. He's like a rubber band man. You know what I mean? And a costume. Of some sort, maybe just poncho or whatever. Or they really did have an encounter with the Bigfoot. They could almost see the two arms there. Maybe it's a light apparition, but it seems to me he's carrying us, which would be natural for a Bigfoot to do, right? He's like, he's got his arms like, what the hell are you doing in my place? Why are you messing with my place? What the hell are you guys doing in my spot? It's my spot. How you doing in my spot? It's good stuff. I think it's a good video. And 20 years ago, and didn't get much respect from people because it's just more blurry Squatch stuff. It's a blurry Squatch. Blob Squatch, until you realize you're dealing with something that's spiritual and you're not going to get what you want because, well, who the hell do you think you are? Yeah, seriously, who do you think you are? I mean, would you demand that from an animal? Your pet? You didn't give me what I wanted, you dumb animal. I'm going to take... I'm going to cut that off. It's part of the editing, so you're going to see obviously, if you've watched this far, you know that you've seen the full video that is published. And now you're going to see me editing it. Oh, this inspires you. You know, I'm poor as can be, so, but you can do this. Get yourself a refurbished computer, a couple monitors, get yourself something like Filmora or whatever you like, and start filming this stuff. Get yourself a halfway decent mic, a Yeti or whatever. Doesn't have to be professional. You know, I know a lot of people say, God, the audio's terrible. I'm like, you know, I don't want to be an egotistical YouTube personality. I just want to be a researcher. I'm sharing my journey with you, you believe it or not. If you don't like the journey, hey, what's great about this whole setup, you don't have to be part of it. No, we're all going to be fine, right? One way or the other. I think I do need a break, though. It's going to be a long video. For a 5-10 minute video, it's going to be a long video. And so, hey, if you don't like it, you don't like it, I understand. Hey, this was great. You can go to somewhere else. If you do like it, though, here's a little something. Could you, like, give me a thumbs up? Let me know. Tell me what you appreciate about it. Thanks. That would be very nice. Very generous of you to do so. It's kind of a protocol type thing. Okay. Well, let's see what we can go on. Take a little break. Yeah, it's going to be a very long video. We're going to see if there's any... Look at the legs on that thing. Look at the legs. Look how long his legs are compared to his body. Unless, like I said, maybe their backs are double jointed. That almost looked like some... Look at that. Looks somebody has got boots on. Let's say it's a kid. Let's say it's this really tall dude, right? Maybe he's got a backpack on. Maybe it's somebody's campsite. Maybe it was a human campsite. That dude has a crazy body. That human being has one crazy body. Ooh. Is that him holding the stick right there? And then if that's a human being, it's also got a hoodie or a parka or something on. Should I... Which one's better? That one? That one? Let's take a still of that. Looks like a rock star, man. Slash, that's what I was thinking earlier. Slash, look at that. Look at crazy long legs those are. Is it a Bigfoot? Maybe it's something completely different than a Bigfoot. Maybe it's not even human as well. Ooh, look at that. It's crazy movement. The body gesture, the motions of the body are crazy. He really jerks around. He seems to be carrying something as well. You know what I mean? A little aura around him, too. Look at that leg. Those are crazy looking legs. Look at that. And that's crazy human posture, too, man. If that's a human being, that's, you get some wild posture. He's the rubber band man. I know some people say, you should edit this. It's too long. It's research. I'm sharing with you my research. He's got a stick, man. He's got some kind of branch or something, or a cane, or... Look at those legs. Some wild freaking legs. Wild freaking legs, dude. For, if it's a human being, he's one wild looking human being. That's the bottom right there. This is what you gotta do when you're doing research. A lot of time. Just not getting much credit doing nothing. A lot of doing this. Big part of quote unquote This modern day Bigfoot research is doing this. If it's not with somebody else's video, it's going to be with yours. It's a lot of just spending time on video. Looking for that gem. If there is one. I mean, I can see how someone could say it might be a guy in a backpack. Or, maybe he's a Ku Klux Klan member. I don't know, was it a good image or not? Sure is far away. He's a super skinny dude if he's a human being. Super tall and skinny human being. Hell, if he's a Bigfoot, he's super... He's super tall and skinny if he's a Bigfoot. It's almost like he's carrying a gun or something. Or a stick. It'd be a stick most likely. Well, I know one thing. Posture's pretty crazy. It gives me a little... I think the double jointed back thing might be the case. I never heard anybody else say that, but that doesn't mean it. I mean, if I noticed that, so other people gotta notice that too. You know what I mean? Because they've been doing it a lot longer than me. Look, it just disappeared. And then, what was that about? Oh, something. Then he pops up again. It's almost like he's carrying a log. Which might be the case, you know, if he's building something for him. Or he's throwing his arms all over the place. It's almost like an apparition at this point, isn't it? He's back. I'm back in the saddle again. For a dude, a human being, he sure does move all over the place like he's a tweaker or he's on something. It almost seems like he's got something right there. Like he's carrying himself a log, or it's like maybe it's a gun. If it's a human being, it could be a gun. If it's a Sasquatch, it's most likely a log. I mean, either way, with Sasquatch or a human being, probably, and if that's his campsite, might be pretty upset. You know what I mean? Especially if he didn't want to get caught. Say he's a human being, didn't want to get caught. Maybe so, you know, he's on the run. Sure seems like he's carrying something. I think maybe he's carrying a log back to his little hut he's making. Sure you want to be a Bigfooter? So I brought all the clicks. Now he's going past there. That's that rock is, and that's it. That's it. There's a couple spots that are pretty good. I think in between the trees is a good one. I'll run it all the way through again. Excuse me. You know, if it is a person, He's crazy as a bed bug. And if he's Bigfoot, he's pretty much crazy as Big Bug too. But see, this is where he grabs a tree. It's pretty big. When you compare it to the trees, he's on top of that. Those trees aren't, those are big trees, so. For him to stand out like that, that's pretty big. He's pretty big. Don't know how tall he is, but he's pretty big. He's no runt. Male or Sasquatch, for that matter. Or human or Sasquatch. Homo sapien is or Sasquatch. Because I know some people feel that Bigfoot is human, a type of human, a type of person. And I don't have a problem with that. So this is the thing. Look at the thing that something that broke these trees off. I mean, they still got the green on them. They're not dried up. These are not dried up, and they're not small. For branches, those are big branches. In fact, they probably could qualify as being some type of small evergreen. You got a bit more mature ones, bigger ones there. I mean, that's not small. It's not small. I don't know. What do you guys think? Bigfoot or not? Yay or nay? That's the Marble Mountain Bigfoot in Northern California. It was filmed 24 years ago. Or 25 or 23, depending on how you want to say it. Some say it's 20. It was filmed in 2000. But then again, it says here, video was taken by Jim Mills. This is some article by Sarah B. Where that is. Looks like a long time ago when the article was written. He's got 40,000 she's in Pasadena, California. Newsbreak.com. It says here, Jim Mills in 2001 is the most extended documented footage of what many are calling Bigfoot. Jim was leading a youth group, Campus Life, on an annual backpacking trip in the Marble Mountains in Northern California when a group came across what looked like a campsite. Jim records the area that includes a structure built out of trees, branches, and logs. In the video, Jim describes it as looking as if something just snapped the tree branches or trunks, I added that, in half, and did not use any modern day technology or even something as basic as an axe. The structure looks like a place for shelter. They also noticed claw marks on the trees in the area, and one could argue it could be a bear. After the group has surveyed the campsite, someone looks up on the ridge of the mountain and they see what looks like Bigfoot, an enormous human with long arms and a strange gait, walking down the crest of the hill. And he sees them too. At intervals throughout the video, he stops and looks down on his campsite and then continues walking. There is one point where he is between two trees, and it appears that whatever is walking is now pacing back and forth and jumping up and down, the group states. It also looks like it grabbed a branch of some sort, from what I just did. He is shaking his fists at us. He is screaming at us. He is furious. Another group member says that does not look like a person, but Jim Mills agrees, stating that it is not a person. One of the group members states his hands are at least down to his knees. He's got the craziest legs too in the gait and the walk. Jim has managed to record the entire footage, which lasts 7 minutes. It's a little under 7 minutes, more like 6. It is not modern day footage, so many may claim it is unclear or made up, and how can you see anything? Even one of the women whose voice in the camera does not feel it is anything strange, stating, when the guy comes down and says hi, are you going to erase all the footage, aren't you? So even as she is sitting there witnessing what could be a Bigfoot, she still does not believe something beyond her comprehension could exist. It is a youth group in the Bible. They talk about giants, and I know that Bigfoot might not fit under the same category, but if giants did exist, why couldn't Bigfoot also exist? Maybe she is scared, since many who capture footage and suspect they have seen Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or anything out of the ordinary, question it, often end up mysteriously dead. Many comments on this video also have mixed thoughts, with one commenter stating, "This is so real. The behavior exhibited by the creature was very real to an animal's environment being found out. The creature was angry. It was banging on trees and throwing things, and they shut up. They might have even heard something by the creature. Many occasions when a Bigfoot was in danger, it would bang on things." Or throw things. I am convinced this is a real encounter. Other commenters know the guy filming, Jim Mills, stating that several people have commented that the man who took the video, Jim Mills, was one of the most honest and greatest men they had ever met. Just thought I'd share that as well. And as always, there will be those who do not believe, stating that hiker really got famous. So who knows? I know that you can decide for yourself in the video below. Jim Mills died of cancer in 2010. Rest in peace. So, yeah, whenever you'll talk to Jim about that, I wonder if everybody did interview him. We're going to find out if there's any interviewers about him. That would be interesting. So, thanks for listening. Lord of O.R.D, the FORTEAN shaman. And make sure you be a shaman too. All of us can be FORTEAN shamans. Do you know that? Just gotta be a little clever. Use that camera. Okay, my final
They're
conclusion
snapped like twigs. No hatchets.
of researching this
No,
video. Couple things.
No human marks of a
Sasquatch,
saw.
Probably. I don't think it was just
Everything
one
snapped.
Sasquatch, though.
As though by mighty, mighty strength.
The nest that
Every
they
bit of that.
built had two entrances. A small entrance in the back and a larger one in the front. The ventilation as much as it needed.
They're snapped like twigs. No hatchets.
So it probably needed
No,
the smaller opening for the bag for itself. What was it
no
trying to get?
human marks
Whose
of a
attention was it
saw.
trying to get? The people's? In the middle of the day? How many times has a Sasquatch try to get
Everything
somebody's attention in the middle of the day? Not very often.
As though by mighty,
video
mighty
2000.
strength.
In the year 2000, 24 years ago,
Every bit of that.
I suspect, my hunch is, it was trying to get the attention of something else. Something else. I wonder what's actually, when you look at this image, I don't know if I'll show you this image or not, it's almost like it's carrying something. Strange as that sounds, it seems to be carrying something, and it seems to be interest over here. If you look at this, the body, and in particular, this is probably where the head is. What's on top of its head? A lot of time they carry infants. If you pay a little more attention to the details, you might just be surprised. Now, I can't say this 100%. Of course I can't, it wasn't there. But my suspicion is, I should say, is that it had something with it. It had something with it. It had something with it. A lot of times they carry something with themselves. Now, I could be totally wrong about this. Fair enough. Something's going on right here. Like it's carrying a pole or something. A staff. But, I don't know. Look at that. It just seems like a little too... Could be nothing but hair. I'm walking down the hill. It just looks like there's something dripping on it. I don't know if I missed it. The head. I think it's the head and there's another head on top of it. I think it has an infant with it. Strange as that sounds, I think it has an infant with it. That's why the body looks a little weird. It's hard to tell. But for a mile away, why would a Bigfoot want to get their attention? Now listen, if they're... Bigfoot would have enough sense to say, you know, they're there. Got to find another nest. But when you just look at its body, it's got something going on here and going on here. This is arms. What's that on top of its head? Why does it seem like something's wrapped around it? Now, I could be completely off. Who cares what you think about me? But I honestly think there's an infant on it. And it probably has more than just one. They tend to, yeah. It's my suspicion. My suspicion, it was a Sasquatch, but it wasn't just a Sasquatch. There was another Sasquatch with it, at least one other, and it was trying to get something else's attention. Generally, when an animal does something like that, I was thinking about all the other animals in the world. when they generally a parent tries to get, say, a potential predator's attention, it's not. It's usually because they're trying to draw the attention to them so that their infant or their baby, their whatever, has a chance to escape. I think that's what he was thinking about. I could be absolutely wrong with that, but I can't think of any other reason why in the middle of the day. Sure, they spent all the time making that nest before. 2 entrances. A small one? What does it need a small one for? Seriously. A big Sasquatch doesn't need a small one. Why did it need to feel like it needed to build a nest in the first place? It's a Sasquatch. Adult Sasquatches don't need to do that. They do that. My hunch is that there was more than one there, and it was trying to get attention of that other one. Maybe it was a juvenile Sasquatch that was trying to get attention. Like, get the hell out of there. There's a whole bunch of humans there. Broad daylight. Think about what I'm saying. It seems to me, if you pay attention to the thing, it doesn't make much sense. There's just like some things that, like, anomalies. You know, I mean, if that's its arm right here and its arm right there, then what's that on top of its head? I think it had more than one. Probably. But I will never know for sure. No one will never know for sure. But if you look at the behavior of it, I mean, what's that on top of its head? Right? I mean, what's that on top of its head? I think it had an infant on it. I think something happened. They grabbed something here, maybe a pole, a log or something. But what's that on top of its head? I mean, seriously, what's on top of its head? That's my suspicion, that it was carrying an infant and probably had another, like a juvenile or something close by, and it was trying to get its attention, risking its own life for a reason. A nest? Nah, Sasquatch wouldn't be that stupid. Sasquatch have great eyesight too. They saw those people long before it showed up a mile away on the top of that ridge. It made itself very visible. I wasn't thinking of us trying. Those people ended up like cooking breakfast there. Probably ended up spending the night at the same spot. Never returned. If it was so worried about its nest, it probably would have done something. Maybe threw some rocks at the people. Did something aggressive? No, it was trying to find something else. That's my suspicion. Could be dead wrong. How would anybody know? But I think that thing had an infant on top of it, and that it had a juvenile or some other one that was trying to warn, say, get away from those people. That's my final conclusion. Hey, for those who stuck it out for the past 2 hours plus, you deserve a hand of applause, and I am impressed by you because you're a real researcher. You went through the tediousness of what it takes to figure out a video. There's a lot of things going on. It has something with it. I think it has some kind of pole or I don't want to say pole. Some kind of cane, something made of wood, but it also has something else on it. Something a little bit bigger that makes his head look really strange. And the upper body look a little bit bigger than normal. They carry their infants. Why wouldn't they? Safest place for an infant to be is on there, right? And it's trying to get attention from someone else. Was it a juvenile? Maybe it was its mate. Another big Sasquatch. It doesn't make any sense why it would try to get the human's attention. That's my final conclusion. For whatever it's worth. Not worth a damn, really. But hey, thank you for listening, and tell me what you think. the Lord of O.R.D, the FORTEAN digital shaman.